why is this team a consensus number one when you look at the scout?
Oh, wow. Yeah, they've made 5 errors on the season. They're hitting 340 as a team, and they're pitching like a 2.2 something ERA. So pitching, defense, offense, they got great players, great big draft prospects, right, left-handed pitching. So, yeah, it's a great team. But never about the best team, only about the team that plays the best. So we just need to go play well, give ourselves the best chance to win a ball game.
Given the streak you're on, Coach, how do you feel heading into it?
Yeah, I think good. You know, I think our guys do a good job of just playing the game day to day. It's not like we've talked about a winning streak or anything like that. But I think certainly when you win, you feel more confident. We've seen a lot of young players get at bats and get experience because of some of the injuries we've had. We've seen some starting pitchers get better. We've seen some balls start to fall in. Austin Boast really starting to drive the baseball, use the whole field to hit. Jack's seen some balls fall in finally after a number of balls he's hit hard up to this point. So, and it's always exciting just to begin SEC play. That's why do you come to a place like this is to be a part of these kind of games and the big environments and everything that goes with it.
Do you have less questions than this time last year after playing Houston and about to play LSU, or different questions?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if they're questions. It's just, you know, every team is different. I think we've had a few questions. I don't know if they're answered, but we feel better about the catching situation, for example. We're playing a lot of young players, which there's some guys playing that we hadn't anticipated playing. And that's good for the long term because it gives you experience for the program itself and builds a foundation. But it's certainly challenging in the short term with the age of today's college players. So I think that, you know, the things that we're looking for right now is to continue to play solid defense. We've made some errors lately. Some of them have been just kind of dumb, weird things. I still feel good about our defense. We need to obviously get Werner and Minnick back. If we can get those guys back and survive, you know, the beginning of conference play, just stay confident. Doesn't mean we're not going to have success, but we know what the animal that it's going to be. It's a long season, and we just need to keep these guys healthy, get them healthy, keep them healthy, keep them confident, and play good baseball. And from a starting pitching standpoint, continue to get, you know, good starts, at least 3 of the 4 games a week. You're not going to get 4 great starts most of the time, you know, and that's when your offense or your bullpen has to pick up a starting pitcher. But this week we got 3 great ones, you know. Detmer, Wansing, and Lampkin all did really well, and that allowed us to use the bullpen to win the game on Sunday and have some guys available to win a pitcher's duel last night.
What has Nathan Detmer done in the last week to show you that he's ready to have a repeat performance against a top-ranked team?
I think he was more competitive in the strike zone. He was more aggressive with his pitches. I think the big challenge for Nathan is going to be to go out there and be who he is and not try to match what's going on with the other starting pitcher. I mean, they're 2 different starting pitchers. Skeens is obviously super talented, but he's a 98 to 100 mile an hour arm, you know, and everything's hard. Whereas Nathan, he can throw hard, you know, 95, 96 miles an hour, but he's better when he's sinking the baseball. And if he tries to match the velocity of what's going on in the radar gun on the other side, then that's not going to probably turn out well for us. So he needs to be who he is and execute pitches, and we need to play defense behind him because when he's at his best, that's what's happening. You know, he'll get some strikeouts, but you have a lot of early swings, you have a lot of balls, you know, on the ground, and that's when he's at his best. It's not going to be a great hitting environment all weekend. It's going to be cold. The wind's going to be blowing in from the north. So, you know, there's never a game where you can give up free bases, but, you know, if extra base hits are going to be hard to come by, then, you know, you can't give up free bases to give the other team opportunities.
You mentioned the weather. How closely are you monitoring the forecast, and how much does rain, cooler weather alter this specific matchup?
In terms of, like, when the games are played? You know, right now we're playing. The last time I looked at the weather, which was last night on our way back from Houston, it looked like the rain was going to be gone by the time we play on Friday. We want to avoid doubleheaders at all costs, so, you know, we may have to play in some cold and some wind. But unless someone tells me different, which I'm not the only voice in that conversation, we're planning on playing the games as they're scheduled.
Coach, when you're in the Big 12, you've had your conference put 3 teams in Omaha. You've seen great leagues. Have you ever seen anything going into conference play that looks like 6 or 7 teams in the top 8 or in the top
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. I asked Hutch, since he's been in this league and around A&M for 25 years, if he had seen anything like that. He said no, but it is what it is. Again, that's why you come here, is to play in those type of environments and leagues. And it just seems like, I said this on the way home last night with our coaches on the bus, is like everybody's so good, not just in our league but across the country. But you look in our specific league, the non-conference records, and it's not just winning, it's like 10-0, and teams are pitching well. And I think at some point all 7 teams in the SEC West have been ranked just in the division. So, it's just going to come down to playing good baseball, and there's going to be a team that plays better than expected, and there's going to be teams that play worse, or whether it be because of injury or performance. And so you still have to go play the games, and that's what gives everybody hope, right? And there have been times this year where Major League scouts would say we had the best players on the field, but we lost the game. And there's going to be times this year, potentially this weekend, where the Major League scouts may say they have better players on the field than you do, but that doesn't mean we can't win the game. And that's why you just have to go play, and you have to play better than the other team.
When we hear the saying, we're going to really find out what A&M's made of over the next 3 weeks. Win, lose, draw, Coach.
Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I know what we're made of because I'm around our kids every day. They're awesome kids. They care. They work their rear ends off. They hold themselves to a high level of excellence. Are we good enough? Or I should say, yes, we're good enough. We're good enough, and we're not good enough. We're good enough to play with anybody on our schedule. We're not good enough to just throw our gloves on the field against somebody and think we're going to win the game. So that's almost every team. So I don't know what that comment's supposed to mean. I know what our kids are made of in terms of human beings and how hard they work. We just have to play good baseball. And if we don't, we'll lose. If we do, it'll give us the best chance to win.
What is the current prognosis for the return of Warner and Minich?
Minich is he's probably 2.5, 3 weeks away. They told us to expect 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. So that probably means the end of this month at some point, hopefully the 1st of April. And then Werner, he's hit at full speed. He's fielded some ground balls. I haven't seen him today, but I don't think he's running at full speed yet. So that's going to be the key, and you don't want a player, the psyche of a player goes into that too. He's been through a lot of injuries himself. I'm sure he doesn't want to go through another one that's extended. So, I don't want to rush it, especially on a cold weekend, and then lose him for good. You start messing with hamstrings, you're talking about long time being out. His is very, very minor, but we have to make sure he's all the way through it so we can get it behind us. So I'd say questionable for the weekend.
Anything as exciting as Hunter Haas last night? Can you capture that feeling and what that's like watching from the dugout?
Yeah, it's exciting. That turf is crazy, but yeah. As soon as I got blocked out by the second baseman, so I saw it sinking, and I saw the guy dive, and then I missed him whether he caught it or not, and then I saw the ball go in center field. So, and I knew Hunter was going pretty good. So that's exciting for a player. We needed that at that particular time, and it's crazy. He's tied for the team lead in homers.
Well, you talk about hitting being contagious. You're pretty contagious after that play too.
Yeah. I think that took some pressure off in the dugout. Who hit after him? Moss had a big at-bat, and then obviously Bose crushed. That's as good a ball as he's hit all year long into the wind, into right center field. So that was a good, finish off offensively that game. Hopefully, get the guys going for this weekend.
I know statistics don't really matter, but probability on the hard hit balls has not been what y'all's average has been this year.
Yeah,
How hard is that to explain?
It's just base. People hate that saying. I do too. Sometimes it's baseball, but Jack had one game. He hit 5 balls over 100 miles an hour, and only had 1 hit. Right. So, you'd like to. We have a saying called the game knows. So you just keep squaring balls up, keep hitting balls hard, and there's going to be those times where they fall in. There's going to be those times where you take a horrible swing. And you get a base hit, and the game tends to reward people that do that and just respect it. It's hard because there's so many things in this sport you cannot control. When you hit the ball hard, you feel like I did everything right, and I didn't get rewarded with a hit, and that's the challenge of this game, man. It'll eat you up.
What do you think about your right-handed relief right now? I know that's something that you're still working.
Yeah, I think Hogan, it was good to see him come in last night. Rudis was better. Jaron Warwick is somebody who's thrown one time now. He's going to throw a simulated game today. He has the ability to help us, and so I think we're coming. I think it's getting better. It's still not. There's still some guys down there that I think could give us more. But as the starting pitchers pitch deeper in the games and get to Johnston and or potentially Garcia, the lefties, Aschenbeck, who's done a nice job, then that's less opportunities for those guys. And the ballpark plays into that too. You may not have to be as right-handed as you may need to be when the wind's blowing in so hard. You got a lefty, you can square it up all you want to into that wind. It's not going to go anywhere. So it also there's a lot that goes into those decisions.
Is there any extra juice with conference play starting, or do you just kind of take it like
Yeah, you'd be foolish to say there's not more anticipation, and I mean that's what guys. Again, that's why they come here to play in the SEC and be a part of that. So I haven't been around the team much. I think these guys are just trying to recover from last night, but they'll be ready to go this weekend.